Historians have always believed that the surface of history is a map of what has been recorded, cataloged, and preserved. We explore archives, ancient cities, and artifacts, constructing narratives from fragments. Yet history, like the human mind, often contains hidden chambers that defy our expectations. Imagine a team of historians meticulously cataloging a centuries-old library. They stumble upon a concealed room behind a wall that had been assumed solid for generations. The discovery itself is startling, yet what lies inside challenges their understanding of the past. It challenges the frameworks through which we interpret human behavior, collective decision-making, and the evolution of society. In this room, untouched by time, they find artifacts and documents. They reveal a civilization's intimate relationship with secrecy, survival, and perception. A society that encoded its knowledge, fears, and strategies in ways that speak directly to the neural architecture of our minds and the collective psychology of human groups. The idea that information could be hidden and preserved, yet intentionally obscured, resonates with our modern understanding of how memory functions. Just as the brain stores memories in layered networks, societies also create structures of hidden information. Rooms, texts, and rituals that remain dormant until conditions awaken them. What if this hidden room is not merely a physical space, but a metaphor for the thresholds of human understanding? The boundaries where perception meets reality and the historical signals that have guided civilizations through crises? Upon entering the room, historians encounter a collection of manuscripts, charts, and instruments. They are meticulously organized, yet seemingly designed to obscure as much as to reveal. Among the manuscripts, there are detailed records of trade, governance, and astronomical observations. However, interwoven within these factual accounts are cryptic annotations and diagrams. They suggest a sophisticated comprehension of human behavior. Some charts map population movements in relation to seasonal cycles, epidemics, and natural disasters, hinting at adaptive stress responses. The people who created these documents understood the connection between environmental stimuli and collective behavior, and the capacity of a society to respond to threats. It is a striking example of how human groups, like neural networks, optimize survival through distributed intelligence, redundancy, and information compartmentalization. When we examine the room through this lens, the manuscripts cease to be mere records. They become dynamic simulations of social cognition, encoded in symbols and spatial arrangements that echo the way the brain encodes probabilities, patterns, and potential actions. Psychologists today understand that the brain operates by constantly predicting outcomes. A process known as predictive coding. Neurons fire in anticipation of stimuli, and our perceptions are continuously filtered through models that the brain constructs from past experience. Similarly, the creators of the hidden room constructed a predictive framework for their society by recording patterns of behavior, environmental triggers, and the outcomes of past decisions. They could anticipate crises and mobilize resources efficiently. The manuscripts act as a collective prefrontal cortex, guiding decision-making. By integrating past information with future possibilities, this approach suggests a deep appreciation for the limits of individual cognition and the power of distributed knowledge. If the brain can be seen as a system of interconnected modules, each with specific responsibilities, then this hidden room is an externalized brain for society, a place where memory, analysis, and strategy converge. The room's artifacts also reveal an understanding of perception and attention. Some objects are deliberately mundane, while others are ornate, almost distracting, suggesting an intentional manipulation of focus. This aligns with contemporary psychological research, showing that attention is a finite resource and the way we allocate it affects outcomes. By controlling what is emphasized and what is concealed, the creators of this room were shaping the cognitive landscape. They understood that knowledge is not just about accumulation, but about structuring attention, deciding what must be seen, what can be deferred, and what must remain hidden until the right moment. This mirrors the mechanisms by which neural networks prioritize signals over noise, ensuring that relevant inputs drive action while irrelevant stimuli are suppressed. The room demonstrates that human societies have long grappled with the same cognitive principles that govern the functioning of our brains. Yet, beyond these manuscripts and instruments, there is an element that is at once profoundly simple and complex: evidence of ritual and symbolic practice. On one wall, faded inscriptions depict sequences of stars and moons, alongside human figures engaged in coordinated tasks. These are not merely decorative. They encode temporal cycles, work schedules, and social hierarchies, integrating astronomical knowledge with social engineering. This synthesis of the cosmic and the human reflects an understanding that our perceptions are not isolated. They are part of a larger system where natural rhythms and social behavior are interdependent. Neuroscience teaches us that humans are inherently pattern-seeking creatures, wired to detect regularities in the environment to predict outcomes and reduce uncertainty. The hidden room embodies this principle at a societal scale. By mapping celestial and social patterns together, the civilization created a predictive scaffold for collective action. The room is a testament to the idea that history itself is an emergent property of these interwoven signals, encoded in both material and symbolic forms. As historians delve further, they find that the room contains coded instructions for survival under extreme stress, detailed evacuation plans, resource allocation guides, and contingency protocols. These are not the bureaucratic procedures of a modern government. They are adaptive strategies informed by careful observation of human psychology. Stress, as neuroscientists tell us, triggers both cognitive narrowing and heightened vigilance. Societies that fail to anticipate these responses often crumble under pressure. The hidden room suggests that its creators understood this principle intuitively, designing systems that accounted for human limitations while amplifying collective resilience. It is a striking reminder that history is not merely a series of events, but a continuous negotiation between human vulnerability and the structures that buffer it. Just as neurons form circuits to maintain homeostasis in response to perturbations, societies develop mechanisms to preserve stability in the face of unpredictability. Perhaps the most astonishing discovery is that the room's knowledge was intentionally obscured in ways that required cognitive effort to decode. Some manuscripts use layered language, metaphors, and mathematical symbolism, requiring interdisciplinary literacy to fully comprehend. This design mirrors the brain's strategy of encoding critical information in complex, distributed patterns, making it robust against partial loss. It ensures accessibility to those equipped to interpret it. In effect, the room functioned as both a vault and a teaching mechanism. It challenged those who entered to engage their full cognitive faculties. This raises profound questions about the nature of intelligence. Is it merely the accumulation of facts, or is it the capacity to navigate complexity, decode signals, and integrate knowledge across domains? The hidden room suggests that intelligence, both individual and collective, emerges not from simplicity, but from the deliberate orchestration of complexity. From a philosophical perspective, the discovery of this hidden room forces us to reconsider our assumptions about visibility and reality. Just because something is unseen does not mean it lacks influence. The room, concealed for centuries, shaped the trajectory of the civilization that created it, influencing decision-making, cultural norms, and adaptive strategies without being publicly acknowledged. In cognitive terms, it functions like the unconscious mind, unseen yet continually shaping perceptions, choices, and outcomes. This parallel between hidden structures in society and hidden structures in the mind offers a powerful lens for interpreting history. Every document, artifact, and architectural choice can be understood as a signal, a node in a network that transmits information, regulates behavior, and preserves collective memory. The room exemplifies the principle that the unseen often exerts more influence than the visible, a lesson equally relevant to historians, neuroscientists, and social psychologists. Moreover, the discovery challenges the linear narrative of history. The manuscripts indicate a society that was deeply aware of feedback loops, cycles, and nonlinear interactions. Epidemics, resource shortages, and political upheavals are mapped not as isolated incidents but as interconnected phenomena, with each event influencing subsequent patterns of behavior. This anticipates modern systems thinking, where cause and effect are rarely simple, and outcomes emerge from the dynamic interplay of multiple variables. Just as neural networks exhibit emergent behavior through the interactions of simple units, societies too generate complex trajectories from the interactions of individuals, institutions, and environmental pressures. The hidden room is, in essence, a manual for navigating complexity, emphasizing the importance of adaptability, distributed knowledge, and strategic foresight. One of the most compelling lessons of the room is the role of restraint and strategic withholding. Some knowledge is deliberately incomplete, some pathways intentionally obscured. This suggests an understanding of the psychological principle that access to too much information can paralyze decision-making, dilute attention, and generate anxiety. By curating what was revealed and what was concealed, the creators optimized the society's collective cognition, ensuring that focus remained on actionable knowledge. In neurobiological terms, it mirrors the way the prefrontal cortex filters incoming information, prioritizing relevant signals while suppressing distractions. Historically, this approach may have enhanced survival. Societies that recognized the cognitive and emotional limits of their members could better coordinate, respond to crises, and maintain cohesion. As we contemplate the significance of this discovery, we confront a profound paradox. The strength of a society often lies in its hidden mechanisms. What appears as opacity or secrecy is, in fact, a form of resilience, a buffer against the chaos of unpredictability. This reframes our interpretation of historical events. Failures and collapses are not always due to ignorance or incompetence, but may reflect the delicate balancing act between transparency and concealment, between exposure and protection. The hidden room embodies this principle, demonstrating that wisdom is not solely the possession of visible knowledge, but the orchestration of cognitive, social, and environmental signals in ways that sustain life across generations. The artifacts also illuminate the subtle interplay between individual agency and collective dynamics. Diagrams depicting coordinated labor, resource distribution, and decision-making hierarchies reveal that the society understood the principle of emergence. Complex outcomes arise from the interaction of simple rules followed by many agents. In modern terms, this is analogous to distributed computing or neural network processing. The room's design reflects an appreciation for the limits of individual cognition and the amplification of intelligence through collective organization. Each manuscript, object, and architectural feature is a node in a network, transmitting signals that guide behavior, distribute attention, and maintain social coherence. In this sense, the room is both a brain and a society, a mirror in which we can study the co-evolution of cognition and culture. The discovery also invites reflection on the psychological impact of hidden knowledge. Entering the room, historians report a profound sense of disorientation, followed by awe and deep curiosity. This emotional response mirrors the cognitive processes that the room itself is designed to influence. It triggers focused attention, pattern recognition, and analytical engagement. By structuring the environment to evoke these responses, the room functions as a cognitive catalyst, shaping the mind of anyone who encounters it. Philosophically, this underscores the inseparability of environment, cognition, and culture. Knowledge is not merely contained in objects or texts. It is embedded in spatial arrangements, relational structures, and sensory experiences. The room teaches that learning and adaptation occur through interaction with complex, structured environments, and that history itself is a form of experiential cognition. Perhaps the most striking implication of this hidden room is the way it reframes our understanding of failure and resilience. The manuscripts describe scenarios in which the society faced existential droughts, invasions, and internal conflict, but emerged with minimal disruption. The strategies outlined emphasize anticipation, redundancy, and the modulation of perception and attention. What appears to be precaution or caution is revealed as a sophisticated cognitive strategy, one that mirrors the brain's predictive mechanisms and stress response systems. History, in this context, becomes less a record of chance and more a study in adaptive intelligence. Civilizations succeed not simply by accumulation of power or resources, but by understanding the architecture of uncertainty, the psychology of their members, and the timing of action. This hidden room is not just a repository of artifacts. It is a philosophical and scientific manifesto. It articulates a vision of human societies as dynamic, self-regulating systems, preserving knowledge to maximize resilience. Human capacity for strategic thinking is expressed collectively through spatial design, documentation, and ritual practice. Manuscripts, instruments, and diagrams function as extensions of the mind, scaffolding collective intelligence. Historians uncover a living model of human adaptability, perception, and strategic thought, encoded in material form. The room challenges us to rethink our approach to history, psychology, and social science. Hidden structures in the brain, societies, or environment play a critical role in shaping outcomes. Perception is selective, knowledge distributed, and resilience often resides in what is unseen. Just as neurons communicate, societies transmit information through physical, symbolic, and ritualized channels. The hidden room serves as both a mirror reflecting cognition and culture and a lens for human adaptation. What seems hidden, fragile, or inaccessible is often precisely what sustains a civilization. Opacity, secrecy, complexity are strategic strengths, enabling societies to navigate uncertainty and preserve knowledge. The room is a testament to adaptive intelligence. Demonstrating resilience is thoughtful orchestration of systems. Just as neural networks thrive, societies endure by creating structures both visible and hidden, simple and complex. The discovery of this hidden room transcends mere archaeology or historiography. It offers profound insights into human thought, collective behavior, and principles of resilience. We gain a richer understanding of how societies encode intelligence, manage uncertainty, and balance transparency. The room challenges us to see history not as static events, but as an emergent network of signals and adaptations. Consider the hidden rooms in your own life, unseen structures of thought, habit, and culture. What signals are present but unnoticed, and how might decoding them change how you navigate the world? If this exploration of hidden knowledge, collective intelligence, and historical resilience intrigued you, imagine the untapped insights still waiting in the shadows of history. The past is encoded in the architecture of our societies, in our cognition and silent structures. By engaging with these hidden systems, we illuminate mechanisms by which we adapt, survive, and thrive. History, neuroscience, and psychology converge, reminding us that knowledge boundaries are defined by our capacity to perceive. If you found this journey into the hidden layers of history captivating, like this video, share your thoughts. Subscribe to Past Lens for more explorations into the unseen, the overlooked, and the profoundly instructive lessons history has preserved. Every artifact, every manuscript, and every hidden room has a story to tell, stories that reveal the architecture of human thought. Subscribe and continue walking the path through the past, uncovering the signals that shape both our history and our minds.